Alright, so now with this setup, given the fact that we took the time to make the templates, we should be able to move relatively quickly through the questions and hopefully save the time that it took us to do the templates by going through the questions faster. Let's see if that's true. Let's look at number one. It says, which one of the following clerks could stock 2 consecutive aisles? So the first thing you notice is not a list question. They just want to know who could be consecutive. So we know for a fact that J cannot be consecutive, so answer choice A is out. But let's put the answers aside for a second and just think about who actually could be consecutive. We know from the MKM block that the M can't be consecutive, and relatedly we know that the K's actually can't be consecutive because we know that one of the K's, the second one, is going to be surrounded by M's. So there's no way it could be next to the other the other K. So J's can't be consecutive, M's can't be consecutive, K's can't be consecutive. There's only one O, so O can't be consecutive because it doesn't have, there's not 2 of them. So the one variable that we're left with that actually can be consecutive is L. So pretty quickly we can get to answer choice C. In fact, those of you who are doing the analysis while I was thinking out loud probably finished well before I did. Okay, number 2 says, which one of the following is a pair of clerks, neither of which could stock 5? So what we want is people who can never stock 5. And this is where I think looking at the templates will be very helpful. Let's look at what happens in 5. In the first template it's M, in the second template it's K, and in the third template it's M. So basically, the only people who could ever go in 5 are going to be M or K. Okay, and that just is a function of the fact that of the way that the block, the range that's available to the block, right? It can start at 3, end at 5, start at 4, end at 6, or start at 5, end at 7. But no matter what, that block is going to be covering the 5th spot. So it's got to be an M or a K. So if we can find an answer choice without an M or a K, then we will have found a pair of clerks who cannot go on 5, because the only ones who can go on 5 are M or K. So if we look at the answers, M is in A, so that can't be the right answer because M could stock all 5. K is in B, so that can't be the answer for the same reason. M is in C, so that can't be the answer. D has K and M both, and we know that both of them could stock all 5, so that can't be the answer. Thankfully, answer choice E does not have M or K, and we know that neither Larissa nor Olga can stock aisle 5 because neither Larissa nor Olga are M or K. It's that simple. So let's go to number 3. Which one of the following is a complete and accurate list of clerks, any of whom could stock aisle 3? Alright, so we need to know that everyone who could go in 3, we need to put them onto our list, and then we need to find the answer choice that matches our list. Alright, so one way to do it is to think about who can never be on 3, and those are the people that should not be on the list, and everyone else should be on the list. Okay, so who can never be on 3? Well, if we look at our templates, okay, K is never on 3, and O is never on 3. Okay, so K and O should not be on the list, but so it looks like everyone else should be on the list, which means the list should be J, L, and M. Now, if we just want to be doubly careful, we can confirm this by looking at the templates and see in what situation the J could be there, in what situation the L could be there, and in what situation the M could be there. Okay, so in the first template the M is in 3, so we know that M could be in the 3rd spot. Now in the second template, we're looking at the 3rd spot, it's blank, and then on the right side we've written that 1 L and 2 J's are not shown and they still need to be placed. When we think about it, it doesn't look like there's any reason why the L couldn't go there or the J couldn't go there in the second template. So right there we could stop because we've basically confirmed that M, J, or L could each go in spot 3, and that should be our answer. But if you just want to be now 3 times careful, as you might need to be, then you could look at the last template, and you can see there that we could either put the first L in spot 3 or we could put the second J. So we know that L or J could go in spot 3. In the first template, M is in spot 3, so we know our list should be MLJ, so we look for that. It's answer choice B, and so we're done with number 3. So far, we shouldn't have had to pick up our pencil after we did the templates, which is a nice feeling and gives you more confidence when you're going through the questions, and it really does speed you up. Let's look at number 4. Which one of the following is a complete and accurate list of aisles, any of which could be one of the aisles Manny stocks? So some people have trouble with the wording on this kind of a question, but what they're saying is, give me the complete and accurate list of all the people who could possibly be in aisle, of all the aisles that could possibly be stocked by Manny. So we look at our templates, we see where Manny is. As soon as we notice, for example, in the first template that Manny's in 3 and 5, then we know that that has to go on the list, because the list is supposed to be complete and accurate of the places where Manny could go. So 3 goes on the list, 5 goes on the list. We look at the second template, 4 goes on the list, and 6 goes on the list. And then we look at the last template, and Manny's in 5 and 7. 5's already on our list, so we add 7 to our list, and we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's our answer. And that's not a surprise, right? Because that's what we did with the block. We just slid it between, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. So we split it from starting on 3 to ending on 7. And Manny, because he's on both sides of the block, is going to cover that entire range. So the answer should be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is answer choice D. All right. So the first 4 questions were really relatively straightforward, and if you have the templates, you really shouldn't have an issue, I don't think, with any of those questions. I think now they will start to get a little harder. So let's take a look. So number 5 says, if Larissa's aisles are separated by the maximum number of aisles that could separate her aisles. In other words, keep Larissa's 2 aisles as far apart as possible. Which one of the following could be true? So they want us to start by thinking about the prompt, which is keep Larissa as far apart as possible, and then look through the answer choices and figure out which one could be consistent with the work that we've done to keep Larissa as far apart as possible. All right, now there's 2 ways you could do this. You could either draw up an extra diagram just for this question where you're keeping Larissa as far apart as possible, or you could look at your templates. Okay, I've drawn the diagram at the bottom, but I think I'm going to try to do it with the templates. But you could legitimately do it either way. So if we want to keep Larissa as far apart as possible, we need to think about what that means. Normally, what you try to do is you take one of Larissa's aisles and you put them all the way on the left side, and you take the other of Larissa's aisles, or the other aisle that Larissa is going to stock, L2, and you put it all the way on the right side. So you try to go 1 and 9. But we have this rule that says that Larissa has to stock one of 1 or 9, but she can't stock both of them. So we can't go 1 and 9 because that would violate that rule. So the next thing you would try to do is, okay, let me move them, let me inch them one spot closer. Okay, so 1 and 8 or 2 and 9. We can't go 2, 9 because K is always in 2, 9. So if we're gonna go, the next level down from trying to keep Larissa in 1 and 9, the next furthest that we're able to keep the 2 aisles are 1 and 8, because we can't do 2 and 9 because K is in 2. Okay, so let's see if we can do 1 and 8. Now look, on the bottom template we can't do 1 and 8 because in the bottom template J is in 1, and the first video on this game explained why. So the bottom template's out. So if we're going to keep Larissa as far apart as possible, I'll do this in blue so we know that this is just for this question. We're going to have to go Larissa in 1, sorry, that's not Larissa, Larissa in 1 and Larissa in 8. Okay, and that possibility works in 2 different templates. It works in the first template and it works in the second template. So let's examine them both really quickly. Okay, so in the middle template we're able to fill some more stuff in because the O on the back side is going to have to come before the L. So, and then who would be left? J's. Okay, so J would go in 9 and J would go in 3. And we can take a quick second look at this and make sure that we haven't violated any rules, but the templates were set up in such a way that we didn't violate any rules. So as long as we pay attention to what we put in blue and we look really quickly to make sure that we've covered everybody, then we know that this template is going to work. Okay, so this is one of the possibilities, and some people would then take this one possibility and look for the answers before they even considered the second possibility, which was the first template. I'm going to go ahead and think about the first template, and then I'll look at the answers, just because I want to be thorough with the setup before we look at the answers. But you definitely could do it the other way around, and if if they were going for this template, the second template, then you would in fact save some time. Okay, so who do we have left in the first template though? We have to fill spots 6, 7, and 9, and we have L and 8. So we have to, the variables that we have left to fill spots 6, 7, and 9 are going to be 1 O and 2 J's. Okay, and the J's can't be consecutive, so the J's can't go in 6 or 7. So one of the J's is going to have to go in 9, and then this is going to be like O/L and O/L. Okay. But actually, let me see. It should be O/J is what I meant to say, not O/L. All right, so I'm doing this live. It should have been O/J, okay, because the L's were already used up. So I misspoke there. So okay, so these are the two ways in which it could happen, and now all we need to do is look at the answer choices and figure out which one of the answer choices shows up in one of these templates, and that's going to be our answer, because what they're asking us is what could be true. So all the wrong answers you should think about what quality of truth the wrong answers are going to have. In this case, they're going to be must be false, right? Because there's only one thing that could be true, and the rest of them are going to be the opposite of that. They're going to be must be false. So let's see. Answer choice A says Jill stocks aisle 6. And yeah, that looks like it's possible right here, right in the very first template. That's either going to be an O or a J, and so it looks like that would work. So on the real test, you might just double check this particular answer choice really quickly, and then not really look at the rest of the answers. But if you had extra time, you could look at it just to make sure. And in this video, I'm certainly going to look at it because I don't know which of the remaining answer choices somebody might have a question about. So let's look at B. So A we think is our answer. Let's look at B. Manny stocks aisle 7. So we look at the two places, and no, aisle 7 is either going to be an O or a J. In this template, it's going to be an O. In this template, it's going to be an O or a J. Manny can definitely not stock aisle 7. C says both of Jill's aisles are numbered lower than Olga's, and that can never happen, right? Because in the first template, J is going to be 9, so one of J's aisles is definitely going to be higher than Olga's, and in the second template, J is going to be 9. In fact, I didn't say this out loud earlier, but as long as we're keeping L as far apart as possible, the only person who could go in the 9th spot is going to be J. So there's no way that both of J's aisles could be lower than Olga's. All right, so C's out. D says Jill stocks only even numbered aisles. Again, that comes from the same exact fact which we just said out loud for the first time, which was that J is definitely going to have to be in aisle 9 as long as we're keeping L as far apart as possible. So it can't be true that Jill stocks only even numbered aisles. 9 is not an even number. And then finally we look at E. It says only one clerk stocks a higher number aisle than Olga does. What is the highest that Olga can get in one of these in these templates? 7th, right? So there's going to have to be at least 2 people who are higher than Olga. All right, so that answer can't be correct either. So like we knew, we knew pretty much right away, all right, that the answer for number 5 was going to be A. And so you would have just, on the real test, to save time, especially if you were short on time, you would have not even looked at B, C, D, and E. And I was just looking at them just to make sure that nobody, that you got an explanation for why each of those was wrong. Okay, I'm going to run out of time if I try to do the rest of these questions, so I'm going to stop this video, and then it's going to take one more video to get through all of this. So 6 and 7 in the next video.